Yo, what's up? I'm back, and today I'm doing another video about TV, and it's another video about players. But it's not only players, this time I'm also going to be talking about another mockumentary, American Vandal, that I got into. Same creators, players, and quite honestly, I love that one too. Before I get into it, I do want to give a shout out to Bonnie on Twitter. She's been a very proud advocate of Players as a show, and if it weren't for her, I probably would not have started watching it. And I'm very glad I did because it is one of my favorite shows now. She did a stream with some writers, producers, and someone that was on the show, just to talk about the show, talk about what went into creating it, being a part of it, and all that. So I will reference it a little bit throughout this video. So big shout out to Bonnie. I'll leave her Twitter and the link to the VOD in the description. If you missed my last video on Players, or you just don't know what Players is, it's pretty much just about a fictional esports team that plays League of Legends. It's centered around the veteran cream cheese and the young hotshot star organism and their conflicts together. American Vandal Season 1 is about a vandalism crime where a high school student drew a bunch of dicks on the staff's cars. American Vandal Season 2 is about a bunch of poop related pranks or crimes against people at this prestigious private high school. Both are created by Tony Yacenda and Dan Perel. Huge shout out to them. Really love these shows. They're both mockumentaries, and yeah, let's get into it. Recently, I've been in a bit of a rut, I guess you could say. Things have been a bit rough, but for some reason, these shows, Players and American Vandal, they've kind of been my comfort shows. And I think part of it is that the trick of the show is that regardless of if they're, playing video games, if they're solving a mystery at a high school, the trick of these shows that Tony Yacenda and Dan Peralt have created, they just get you to invest in the characters, to get you to care about the characters as people. I don't really know why exactly, but for some reason, seeing other people's lives, even if they are fictional people, I guess, seeing their lives was comforting to me. It was kind of a reminder that other people have struggles, they have highs, they have lows. Just seeing other people work through their own issues was kind of comforting for my own life. As I've been trying to work through it, and it is hard. So seeing other people go through the same kind of process of trying to figure out what they can do. These shows really were just like comfort shows because of the mockumentary style really allowed for that kind of process to be shown. Tony and Dan, they make these shows feel incredibly authentic. Through the writing, through the comedy, the casting, and the acting, it all feels very real. It doesn't feel like a show, it feels like a very real documentary, and these things actually happened. That's definitely part of why it feels like I'm watching people, not characters in not like characters in a sitcom or like roles in a movie or anything like that. Like, it feels like I'm watching a real documentary about real people and real events that actually happen, even though it's all a mockumentary. In both shows, the dialogue sounds very real for each character. It doesn't sound like out of touch, like bad use of slang or something, or that the writers weren't knowledgeable. Like, especially for Players, it's easy to see that the creators really cared about making a good product.
Then solo queue streaming is like pickup basketball, right? But imagine a world where the very best pickup basketball players can actually make as much, if not more money than the best NBA players.
They did their due diligence, and it really does make it feel more authentic. And then in terms of American Vandal, the dialogue is very high school. It feels like these are real conversations high schoolers would have, and it really just puts you in this world of these people, and I really appreciate that. The comedic parts in these shows are just generally funny. They can be funny to anyone. There's a scene in Players where one of the characters is making coffee. It's a stressful time. She's making coffee in her little automated thing, whatever. As her little Keurig machine is pouring coffee, she just takes a packet and just chugs it. At a certain point, Everyone probably feels like they want to do that. And it's just funny to anybody. Yeah, I could show that to my mom and she would be like, oh yeah, I get that. And that's just one example. There's plenty of funny moments in players. In American Vandal, I mean, there's tons of dick jokes in the first season, there's tons of poop jokes in the second season.
But what if the motive is just as simple as a prank? What if this is just DeMarcus thinking that poop is funny? Poop is funny.
Am I immature? Yes. But they're still funny. The actors really play their roles so perfectly in these shows. I don't know if it's just casting or, I mean, it is casting, but even though the people look the part, their vibe on screen, it really feels like they are the person they're playing. The actor for Cream Cheese and Players, he's not a gamer, but he really feels like a gamer in the show. I mean, all of them do. All of them do in that show, and even though some of them aren't gamers, which is really incredible. Some of them are actually pro players, which is really cool. I didn't know that until I watched the stream. And some of the pro players on the Fugitive team are actually pro players. All the casters and analysts, they're actually real casters and analysts for the LCS. It's very cool. And then, you know, of course, the high schoolers, they cast as high schoolers. In American Vandal, they look like high schoolers. They're not like grown people, like 20 plus, 30 plus. I mean, they might be 20 plus, but they sure look like high schoolers. It's like Tom Holland. He's older, but he looks like a sophomore. That's what it is. And I get that same vibe from American Vandal. The jocks that are playing the jocks talk and act and have the same vibes all the jocks that I knew in high school. The nerds act like nerds. They all play their part very, very well. It really adds to the authenticity. It really adds to the feeling that I'm watching a real documentary. I'm watching real people go through this adventure of figuring out who did the crimes. And not only are they getting the vibe right, in some moments, especially in Players, there's some moments of emotional vulnerability, emotional breakdown. The actors for Cream Cheese and Organism in particular, they do such a good job of sounding like they're on the verge of tears, of sounding like they are really breaking down, like they've really hit their limit. The scene in episode 9 where Organism and Cream Cheese are yelling at each other and they both sound like they're just full panic mode. The acting in it is incredible.
He's fucking tilting like he always does when he doesn't get his way, so he's running out there and he's trying to outplay Foresight. Well, I got news for you, Cream. You can't outplay Foresight because he's better than you.
Or I can beat Foresight.
No, the fuck you can't. Get your shit together, man.
Are you fucking kidding me? I can't be around this. I can't fucking be around him. I can't. He drives me fucking insane. I can't be around him.
I mean, the gamer rage was done so well. I mean, apparently some of the gamer rage was improv, and they just did multiple takes of them just getting mad and just like doing different things. And it was like hearing the stories about what they did. I was like, man, like they really nailed it. So huge props to the actors. And huge props to casting as well for finding these people and getting people that could really nail the vibe of who they were going for. Like I said, all these things culminate together to just make it feel like a very real documentary. Make it feel like real life instead of a show. Apparently he cut out some moments from Players that were improv that were like too funny because it felt like TV instead of a documentary. So to see that he would do something like that, it just lets me know that his direction is definitely geared towards getting people invested in these people as people and not characters. And it worked. It really worked. I think these two shows are incredible. I mean, they're like right up my alley. One thing to note about the shows is that they all have bittersweet endings. When the finale of Players came out, I saw someone on Twitter saying like, you know, it wasn't what they wanted, it was kind of like a punch to the gut, but that's life. And I think the recurring bittersweet endings kind of drive home the point that these are documentaries in real people's lives. Real people, I get. These are documentaries in some universe. These are real events in some universe. And life isn't you know, as we all know, life isn't always perfect. Life doesn't always end with the perfect happy ending that we want, like it does in a lot of TV shows. In American Vandal, the goal or premise of the entire season is to find out who did the crimes at the high schools. And in each season you figure out who it is, but there's always this other consequence that comes with unearthing these crimes. There's always something else that happened. It's that something else that's like, it's like you really wish that didn't have to happen, but that's just how life is. It can't be perfect. I think this kind of meta aspect that these are real documentaries in some world, I think that's what really gets me. It really speaks to me because we are, if you're watching on Netflix, it is a show, but with the lengths that the directors and the creators and the producers and the show goes to making it feel not like a show, you get invested in these people, and then you want them to have a happy ending. You want them to just have the perfect, oh, we know who did it, they're in trouble now, we caught him, and like that's it. That's what you would want, but it's a really sick turn that it reminds you that life can't be that way. Well, it can be, but more often than not, there's usually some catch to things. There's just a lot about romanticizing the past. It's like, if all the things I did in the past, had no meaning, or if it didn't amount to what I wanted it to, then, what was it all for? So then we romanticize the past. We make it more than it actually was because we want it to mean something. We want it to feel, we want to feel like it had real purpose, even if it didn't go the way we wanted. American Vandal Season 1, it talks about societal biases or preconceived notions that can have real negative effects on people. American Vandal Season 2, it talks about online personas, the fakeness of social media, how everyone's always going through their own struggles, whether they put it online or not. And these are messages that can be applied to the show's world and their events into the real world. I think that's what's really, I think that's what makes it more okay that all these seasons of shows have these bittersweet endings. It's like, through the bittersweet ending, it makes it more poignant what kind of message the creators are trying to relay to the audience. If it was all a happy ending, then it would just be like, yeah, we did it. But the bittersweet ending makes it feel like, oh man, yeah, they did it, but like at what cost, It's like you wish you could do more. You wish that it could have been, that the bitter part could have been avoided somehow, but like I've said quite a bit, you can't really determine that in life. Sometimes you don't get to have the sweet without the bitter, and that's just how it is. But it's about pushing through. It's about getting through the struggle. I think that's what, like, these things, these messages, I feel like they're delivered especially well in these shows because it feels so real, because these people feel so real. And I think that's an incredible thing that the creators of these shows have done. These bittersweet endings remind me life isn't perfect. Things aren't gonna go your way, but you'll figure it out. Things will get better. Sometimes you need the bitter part to progress. You need the bitter part to develop as a person. I think that's why these shows bring me comfort, even though they don't have the happiest endings. It makes me feel like these real people that went through struggles, it makes me feel like that it makes me feel like some of these people did it. Some of these people were able to move on. They were able to get past whatever it was that was holding them back. Some of them didn't. Whether it be their fault or not. It's just a reminder that to a certain extent, life is what I make it.
I'm on the court, I'm in control. Handle the ball, I shoot it, I turn down my own rebounds. It's like under Marcus Tillman, I'm in control, but in real life, it's like I'm on a fucking bench. So from that point forward, I got off the bench.
Huge shout out again to Tony Yusenda and Dan Perrault they have made they really have the mockumentary style down pat. They really get how to do it, and you know, huge props to them. I love these shows, American Vandal and Players. And thank you again to Bonnie. Thank you so much for recommending Players, because now I have 2 of my favorite shows. I got American Vandal through Players, so thank you. Thank you a lot. And, you know, sorry if I sound a bit, you know, downcast this video. Sorry if I sound a bit sad, but, you know, like I said, things been a bit rough, but I did want to talk about what these shows have done for me personally. How much they've kind of helped me get through what I've been going through. You know, through the laughs, through the mystery, the suspense, the highs of a playoff victory, of, you know, getting a new lead on a case, of finding out who did it, you know, good plot twist, all of that. And I just gotta keep moving forward. I will be trying to upload more things. I have a few things I have to edit. I definitely have a few more video ideas. I'll definitely be streaming the new Pokemon game. Again, I'm sorry that this video was not as energetic, I guess, and lighthearted, but hey man, it happens. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you would like. I will for sure be posting more. I am tired of not uploading. I will be uploading. I will do whatever I need to. Go Fugitive Gaming. I drew the digs and I did the brownout. See ya.